welcome to this explainer. Okay, so today we're going to immediately demystify that terrifying IRS letter currently sitting on your kitchen counter, right? And we'll get you a clear roadmap to your money. Look, if you've received a CP05 notice, yeah, your tax refund is officially frozen. But hey, before you assume the absolute worst, we're going to walk through exactly what this means. We'll be using the facts directly from tax experts and, well, the IRS themselves. So here's our quick agenda for today. First, we'll cover why you shouldn't panic about a CP05. Second, exactly why your refund is frozen. Third, we'll talk about the 60-day waiting game. Fourth, the next steps if you get follow-up notices. And finally, when you actually need to ask for help. All right, let's jump straight into Section 1. Don't panic. The CP05. We're demystifying these IRS notices. You know, it is completely natural to feel a huge spike of anxiety when you see that official IRS logo sitting in your mailbox, especially when you're really counting on that refund to pay some bills or, I don't know, fund a personal goal. Your stomach just completely drops, right? You immediately assume the absolute worst. But, as tax attorneys point out, a CP05 is actually one of the least alarming things the IRS can send you. Seriously. So, take a deep breath. If this is the exact piece of paper you received, notice CP05, you're really just dealing with a routine verification pause. The text right there at the top literally says, "We're holding your refund until we finish reviewing your tax return." And honestly, that's it. They've just hit the pause button to verify the accuracy of your return. Nothing more, nothing less. I mean, we immediately picture the worst, right? A full-blown audit, massive tax bills, or even accusations of criminal fraud. But the reality? It's much calmer. It actually just means a routine refund pause for verification. Literally millions of these exact notices are sent out every single tax season. You do not owe money at this stage, and you are definitely not being formally audited. Okay, moving right along to Section 2. Why is my refund frozen? Let's look at some common causes for the delay. So the absolutely crucial point here is that this freeze is usually just triggered by standard procedures. We're talking common triggers like mismatched W-2s, maybe mismatched 1099s, or honestly, even just a totally random computer review cycle. It's kind of like a random spot check. Also, if you claimed the Earned Income Tax Credit or the Additional Child Tax Credit, well, there's a law called the PATH Act that actually requires the IRS to hold your entire refund until February 15th. This is just to prevent identity theft. By law, they literally cannot release your money any earlier. Now let's talk about what we kind of call the missing W-2 mystery. According to Philadelphia Legal Assistants, a super common culprit for a CP05 delay is simply that your employer failed to send a copy of your W-2 to the IRS. I know, you probably attached your copy when you filed, but the IRS wants confirmation directly from your boss before handing over your cash. If the IRS computer doesn't see a matching W-2 from the employer in their system, boom, everything just grinds to a halt. All right, Section 3, the 60-day waiting game. Patience really is key here. Here is exactly how this waiting period breaks down. From day 1 to day 60, after receiving the notice, the IRS is conducting its review. And you know what the official instruction is for you during this time? Do nothing. Seriously, do not even call them yet because agents literally cannot expedite the review over the phone. Only if you hit day 60 and still have no refund and you haven't received any further letters, only then should you pick up the phone to call the number listed on your notice. And you know, here is exactly why you absolutely must wait. Let's look at a bit of a cautionary tale from a real taxpayer on Reddit who panicked and tried to fix the issue prematurely. They asked, "I decided to file an amended return. Did I make a mistake by not waiting?" Well, the answer is a resounding yes. You have to wait for the original return to process. As tax experts point out, filing an amended return while you're currently under a CP05 review can accidentally freeze your refund for an additional 4 to 6 months. Ouch. You're essentially creating a massive bureaucratic traffic jam in your own tax file. Just let the system do its work first. Moving into Section 4, next steps with the CP05A and CP05B. Here's how you actually respond to the IRS. Okay, so if you happen to receive one of these follow-up letters in the mail, that relaxed waiting period, yeah, it's officially over. A CP05A means they need you to provide documentation to verify your W-2 income, your tax withholding, or your credits. On the other hand, a CP05B typically targets business or self-employment income, like what you'd report on a Schedule C. For both of these notices, you must respond within a strict 30-day deadline. If you don't, your refund could be adjusted or even outright denied. To respond properly, you're going to want to follow these exact steps. First, gather up every single document they ask for. Second, get them submitted. The IRS explicitly notes that using their online document upload tool, or DUT, provides the absolute fastest resolution. Now, if you absolutely must mail your response, make sure you use certified mail with a return receipt, just so you have hard proof of that delivery date. And step 3, which is super vital, send copies, not your originals. I can't stress this enough. The IRS does not return your submitted documents. But surprisingly, there is one thing you absolutely should not send. You have to provide exactly what the IRS asks for, right? So for a CP05A, acceptable documents usually include things like your last 3 pay stubs, maybe a signed letter from your employer on official company letterhead, or even a retirement statement. But get this, they explicitly state not to send a copy of your Form W-2. Seriously, no W-2s. They already have that, or at least they know you haven't. What they really want is third-party, real-world proof of those wages. Finally, let's get into Section 5, when to ask for help and how to escalate your case. First off, if you got a CP05 letter saying your return is being reviewed, but wait, you haven't even filed your taxes yet? Yeah, that is a massive red flag. Someone has likely used your personal information to try and steal a refund in your name. If this happens, you must rapidly execute these steps. First, file Form 14039, that's the identity theft affidavit, with the IRS immediately. Then notify your banks and contact the major credit bureaus to put a fraud alert on your file. For everyone else, keep an eye out for these escalation red flags. If your CP05 arrived via certified mail and actually required your signature, well, that implies the IRS considers this communication legally significant. That's moving a bit beyond just a simple routine check. Also, if your issue is completely unresolved after 60 days and calling the standard line is getting you absolutely nowhere, or if this delayed refund is causing you severe financial hardship, like it's literally threatening your ability to pay rent, then it's time to stop waiting. You need to proactively reach out for professional assistance. And here is your absolute best resource for when you are truly in a bind. The Taxpayer Advocate Service, or TAS, is an independent organization operating right within the IRS itself. They literally exist specifically to protect your rights as a taxpayer. So if this refund delay is causing you severe economic harm, you can submit Form 911 or just call them at 877-777-4778. They actually have the power to step in, communicate directly with the review team, and expedite your refund if you meet their hardship criteria. A real lifesaver. Alternatively, let's say you strongly suspect your employer messed up your W-2 reporting. You know, that missing W-2 mystery we talked about earlier? Well, Philadelphia Legal Assistance recommends calling a very specific IRS department. It's the Automated Questionable Credit Unit at 855-873-2100. They can sometimes help clear up the whole roadblock if the issue is purely a missing employer document. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a question. The IRS has 60 days to review your return, but are you keeping an eye on your employer's W-2 reporting? Because one incredible pro tip is to create an online account at SSA.gov so you can proactively check your wage transcripts yourself. By ensuring your employer actually reported your income correctly before you even hit submit on your taxes, you might just prevent your money from getting frozen in the first place. Pretty smart, right? Stay proactive out there, and thanks for joining us to learn all about this today.